Sports in the Courts with the great Brian Oxman, the former attorney for Michael Jackson and the Jackson family, talking about everything in the legal world of sports here on Dave Smith Unleashed. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders here, Brian. The claims of racism, why he lasted until the fifth round, I think are unfounded and ridiculous. There's also talk, though, of collusion, that maybe because of bad interviews, maybe because of his attitude, maybe because he was intentionally tanking interviews, that some of the owners got together and said, okay, well, we're not going to take him now, based not on performance on the field, but because of we're concerned about attitude problems, we're concerned about interference from his father. Could any case be made for collusion here?
Let's get it straight, Dave. What the Shedeur Sanders incident has proven to us is a couple of things. Number one, was there collusion? You bet. Was there racism? Absolutely not. No way, no how. Is Shedeur Sanders an out-of-control prima donna who is got it coming to him? You bet he does. He is so out in left field, and his father, talk about people who are not deserving of the incredible talent that they have and the incredible public acclamation that they have. Neither one of them. But are they good hypers? Do they good promoters? Yeah, they promote very well. But what our incident proves to us is that there was collusion among the NFL football teams. I am furious at how the NFL owners and all of the people engaged in selecting athletes at the draft, which, by the way, Dave, we got to talk about the draft and how I think it's very close to a slave auction. I'll talk about that in just a second. They colluded in the draft to make sure that Shedeur Sanders was not selected until the fifth round. He should have gone in the first round. Everybody knows it. But there was a wink and a nod behind all the owners, behind all the general managers, behind all the people. They were mad at him. They were mad at his father. And, you know, to visit the sins of the father onto the son, that's just wrong. The collusion against him was terrible. But did he get his comeuppance? Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, and good luck proving collusion. That's a tough one in court. And
no way.
I
can't prove it.
I would disagree with you about being an out-of-control egomaniac. I had Shedeur on my show a couple of years ago. He came across to me as a very nice kid, very humble. I think a lot of this has to do with Deion said before the draft, we might pull an Eli Manning, meaning, well, if we don't go to the team we want to go to, maybe we'll hold out or demand a trade. And evidently he tanked some of his interviews with teams that he didn't want to go to. And I saw a couple of general managers and a couple of personnel people in the NFL, Brian, saying it was the worst interview they'd ever gone through. That he came across as kind of entitled, and he said, I'm going to take over your locker room. And also, if you're an organization, boy, if you're a head coach and you're thinking about drafting him, that aura of Deion, who's a head coach at Colorado, if you lose a couple of games or if things aren't going well, you know, the gossip's going to start about Deion replacing me. I don't need that.
Who said that being a head coach in the NFL was a picnic? These coaches have to deal with incredible personnel problems where their players are so out of control. Sexual matters, violence matters, drug matters, family matters, you name it, Dave. And you don't coach football. You're a life coach when you're a coach at the NFL. And is Deion Sanders or Shedeur Sanders any worse than the other problems that these head coaches have to deal with? My answer is no. In fact, in my view, it's way down on the totem pole. I think that they present less of a problem. He doesn't appear, Shedeur does not appear to be a behavioral problem. He doesn't appear to be involved in violence or drugs. I mean, to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, literally hundreds of millions of dollars on a player, and then for him to go out and get sexual allegations against him, which destroy his life and destroy his team. Oh my God, as a head coach, you are absolutely out of your mind. Shedeur does not appear to be that kind of a risk. He is a hyper guy. He is a promotional guy. And yeah, when you said he's great man, and you know what? I'll bet you he is.
Well,
I'll
he
bet you
came across as a really nice kid to me when I
I'll
interviewed him.
bet you he is. I'll bet you he's level-headed, got smarts, knows what he's doing, and I kind of like that kind of guy. But here's the thing: you, you put a spotlight on that guy, and he goes nuts. He goes wild. Some people are just that way under the influence of the spotlight, under the stage. They go wild. Can I, as a head coach, handle that? I think so.
I think the bottom line is, there's lots of guys, who beat up their girlfriends or got into trouble or got arrested in their past that were first-round draft choices because they were so overwhelmingly talented. I think the feeling in the NFL was, I don't think he sort of lasted till the fifth round, Brian, but it's just not worth the headache. His dad saying he's going to force a trade somewhere. Maybe his dad will demand to be the head coach, and he's not good enough for us to take him as a first-round draft choice. It's not worth the headache.
Yeah. I don't care about any of that. I'm not interested. I am interested in watching the films of him play at the University of Colorado. I am interested about his skills, what he really showed at the combine, and there's really, they say that he did not really make a very good showing at all.
Well, he didn't go to the combine, but he had his pro day.
He did a privately pro day.
Yep.
And it wasn't all that hot. That's what I'm interested in. I don't care about his father. Who his daddy is makes no difference to me whatsoever. I got behavioral problems. You remember Dennis Gilbert? He used to be with the White Sox, and he was a pro agent.
Yep.
And I worked with Dennis for several years. And Dennis said to me, he said, Brian, the biggest problem in professional sports is paternity lawsuits. I said, how so? It destroys the player's career. They have sex with a girl. She wants them to get them pregnant. And then their career goes down the drain. They are a complete mess. We've spent millions of dollars on them, but they become a complete mess because of a paternity lawsuit. And I said, wow, people don't really know that. So that's what I'm concerned about. Things that really matter in a professional athlete's life, not his daddy making all kinds of noise.
Well, if you're advising Shedeur, Brian Oxman, let's say you're representing him or somebody you know is representing him, is it worth filing a collusion lawsuit, or do you say to him, hey, you know what, this is going to be a tough one to prove. Just keep your mouth shut, go to training camp and play great. Maybe you'll be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this year.
I think it's the second one, the latter one, Dave. Be quiet. Get out there and prove them. Show them. You want to tout yourself? I mean, we have people who have been great athletes. Joe Namath, and how he was such a fantastic guy who promoted himself. Muhammad Ali. I will never forget the headlines on when he fought Sonny Liston. Liston buttons lip tonight.
Yeah.
Nope, you didn't do that, Sonny. You got floored. Shedeur, go out there and button their lip. Show them. And if you do, my man, if you do, you're going to be the highest paid player in the league. But if you can't perform, all the lip in the world ain't going to get you diddly squat. So go out there and prove them wrong.
I agree with you 1,000%, Brian Oxman, and that doesn't happen often. Dave Smith and the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast, brought to you by MTS Transportation, 800-640-6873. Reliable, on-time delivery, compliance you can count on, round-the-clock support, superior communication, experienced logistic partners, and mention Dave Smith Unleashed and get 20% off all shipments. And by the way, we're giving away, thanks to MTS Transportation, we're giving away 4 Dodgers tickets every month. We just had a winner. Dave Espo on Twitter was our last winner. Went to the Dodger game on the 29th against the Marlins, giving away another 4-pack coming up in May. All right, Brian, let's talk about Shannon Sharpe. Former National Football League player, longtime Denver Bronco and Baltimore Raven. Now he's doing very well in the broadcast industry, first at Fox Sports and now at ESPN. Now, evidently, he was dating a young lady who was 19 years old for a couple of years, and he's 56. They met in the gym, and now She's accusing him of sexual assault, and she's filed a $50 million lawsuit against him. And then another woman, Michelle Evans, who was a reporter in Denver back when he was playing, and they dated, and she accused him of rape in 2010, but she didn't come forward until 2023. So now I guess he's got a couple of civil lawsuits going against him. So you've read over this stuff. Any merit to this? And is Shannon Sharpe in trouble legally here, and is his career in trouble?
Generally speaking, Dave, these lawsuits cost the player a fortune, an absolute fortune. The real thieves in these lawsuits are the attorneys who represent the players. They just suck them dry. And after the end of it, I mean, Shannon's not making no more money as a player anymore. He's got to pay these bills. Now, he offered $10 million to settle the lawsuit. People will say, hey, that's an admission that there was some kind of merit. No, no, no. That's maybe half of what this lawsuit is going to cost him in attorney's fees after it's done. Should she have accepted this? Dave, I think she should have accepted it. Why? Because that's money found. So, will Shannon Sharpe win? I think that Shannon Sharpe ultimately will prevail. Would I accept this $10 million if I was the girl?
Yes,
I would.
Absolutely.
Do I think less of Shannon Sharpe? You betcha I do. I mean, this is like Trevor Bauer.
Oh, my God.
With choking the girl and being abusive. Except, Dave, I'm sorry, the girl's accusations. He was controlling and manipulative. Duh, I don't know anybody who's that. He was extremely emotional and possessed an uncontrollable temper. I don't know nobody who does that. He treated me like personal property, possessed and owned by him, that he could take what he wanted from me, and no one could stop him. What are these accusations are nonsense. This is garbage. That he choked her, that there was a rape of the other young lady involved. Now I'm getting upset. I don't like that.
You know what proved Trevor Bauer's accuser was lying was, remember she posted pictures, she was all beat up and he beat the hell out of her. But then she took a video of the next morning when they woke up together and she was smiling and giggling and didn't have a mark on her. So my question is, how is Trevor Bauer not back in the major leagues? Why has nobody signed him? To me, in my opinion, it's pretty obvious that he was being set up here and he's not guilty of this. Why hasn't a major league team signed a number one caliber starter here, which a lot of teams need?
Because the Ninth Circuit didn't come to his rescue like Barry Bonds. You remember that Barry Bonds was accused of using steroids, and he was at Dodger Stadium, and they started throwing syringes at him, and they started throwing baseballs with asterisks at him. He was accused of using drugs. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal exonerated him. They said, no way, no how, this is all bogus. The case was dismissed against him. Trevor Bauer never had that kind of exoneration. Trevor Bauer also made a ridiculous lawsuit against the girl in which he outlined and set out all of this choking and gagging and wrapping her hair around her neck and having her lose consciousness, and that she loved it. And you read this and you said, well, okay, the girl is weird, but Trevor is nuts. And that's why he's not ever shown his face again at Dodger Stadium.
Now, let's finish up with Shannon Sharpe here. Who knows what really happened here? I mean, he released a whole bunch of texts through his attorney, Tony Busby, about her saying, well, I want you to choke me and I want you to do me and I want you to put a black baby inside me, and giggling. And then she released a part of a video. She evidently has a sex tape where he was threatening to choke her and telling her not to talk. So this is going to get ugly. And as you said earlier, first of all, don't ever put anything in writing and texting, Shannon, when you're a famous guy like that. Never video anything, never put anything in writing, and settle, right, Brian? He offered to settle and she didn't take it.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. And what? That's not what the police, that's what the girls that you are sleeping with. They will use everything and anything. You are meat. You are bait. They are going to get their hooks into you, Dave. That's why they're such easy prey. We wonder, like in the case of Brett Favre, he would send sexual pictures and text pictures of his penis to women. Why? Because it was a sign to the girl that this guy is easy pickings. Man, if I can get him, I will fleece him. And that's what goes on here. And when the girl saw Trevor Bowers, there is actually a conversation she had with her girlfriend where she says, wait till I get my hooks into him. And this is what the girls will do. Is this all women? Is this an indictment of women? No, this is of the people who follow the professional athletes and are easy girls to get with them, and then the athletes think, oh, I'm God's gift to women. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. You is easy pickings, my man, and they're gonna take you to the fleece house.
Now, I don't think that's the case with Jen Sturger, the sideline reporter for the New York Jets, the former Florida State cowgirl that Brent Musburger made so famous during a broadcast one time. He sent her unsolicited dick pics and asked her to come over to his hotel room. And
That's true.
Now Netflix is doing a documentary on it, and she said, I want to talk for the first time and be honest about it, and he ruined my life. Now, I don't think she was a groupie, and I don't think she was out to get him or out to get his money, because she never hooked up with him or tried to go after him financially. He sent those unsolicited, but she's now cooperating with Netflix, Brian, and they're going to be coming out with a documentary.
Sometimes when we hold the conference about the raid, and the Secretary of Defense is including people, we send our texts and information to the wrong people, Dave. We make mistakes in this world. And what you're talking about is absolutely a ridiculous mistake. He was not sending a text to some girl who was out to get him. He was sending a text to some woman who said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I have no interest in this. And so it was a stupid error. And these texts to women who are upstanding and don't want this kind of crap, it's abusive to them.
Now, speaking of a stupid text, Brian, there was a mayor I believe it was in North Dakota recently. He went home for his lunch break, and he videotaped himself masturbating, and he sent it to his girlfriend. Now, I don't know why anybody would ever do that. That's ridiculous. But he didn't send it to his girlfriend, Brian. He accidentally sent it to the city attorney of the city where he was the mayor of, a female.
And the Atlantic magazine.
And he's now the former mayor.
Dave, don't put anything in writing.
No.
I'm sorry. The rules of the game have changed. We are supposed to be in a freewheeling, say anything, do anything, First Amendment, freedom of the press, of speech. No, there is political correctness. Do not put anything in writing that you cannot stand up and have yourself examined in front of a group of nuns and all of the most holy of holy people. Don't do it.
Brian, we got to talk about the Bill Belichick situation here. 73-year-old Bill, always, grumpy, grouchy, great coach, kind of a no-nonsense guy. He now has a 24-year-old girlfriend named Jordan Hudson, and she seems to be causing all kind of trouble for him, where she's kind of taken over at North Carolina. She's in control of his emails. She's in control of his social media. She has an office there in the football facility, and she's kind of the social media coordinator for the football program. 60 Minutes did an interview with him the other day, and the reporter asked Bill, well, where did you two meet? And she jumped up and said, we're not answering that. And then evidently she stormed out, and she came back and she stormed out again. We haven't seen it all, but she's become a big problem here. But Brian, evidently he's in love. He's got a 24-year-old there. He's in love. Is this a hostage situation? Because when I saw that interview, it looked like he was a hostage. It looked like he was under duress.
No, more like Svengali. Okay, the Svengali syndrome is when they kidnap me and they hold me hostage. Next thing we know, I am out there fighting for them.
The Stockholm
That's
syndrome.
the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's what I see, Dave. I see a 73-year-old man who has this cuter than a button
Yes,
woman
she's hot.
just all over him. And you know something? It wakes up things that were long ago put to sleep. And
Yes.
you just go, oh my gosh, I am alive again. Now, you can be Robert Kraft, okay? And you can go to the Asia of Orchids Day Spa in Jupiter, Florida,
Yes.
where you have the treatment, okay? You roll up in your white Rolls Royce, and the police are watching a white Rolls Royce, and you go in there and you have a happy ending, and there's a videotape of this, and then you get arrested. Why? Because I want to live again. I want to be a young man. Why is youth wasted on the young? It's terrible. So Robert Kraft got his things, but you know, Dave, we've never seen that tape. Where is that tape?
Well, I don't want to see it, thank God. I mean, if I ever came across that by accident of a Bob Kraft getting a happy ending, I think I'd have to gouge my own eyes out and have a seeing eye dog the rest of my life. I don't want to see that.
Dave, it would be the happiest ending that you could ever imagine.
Not for me.
Not for you. Okay, let's get back to Belichick.
Yeah, tell me about this.
Belichick wants his happy ending. Okay, they met on an airline flight. Okay, she comes up to him and she has this book, because you see she's a student, and the book is entitled Deductive Logic. It's a textbook, and she wants him to sign it, and he signs it. Well, the word is that what she wanted him to do was to join the Mile High Club.
Oh, come on.
Isn't that what was going on?
I've never read that. No, I haven't heard about that.
I've never read that, and Dave, I am totally speculating. I have no evidence whatsoever.
How dare you?
How dare I? I just wonder about it. They picked up this relationship. Now it's been going on for 2 years, and she is controlling him. Stockholm Syndrome, Svengali, whoever it is. The 20-year-old knows what's going on. And as far as Belichick is concerned, let her do it. This is great. I'm all for it, says Bill. Now, he is at the University of North Carolina. I mean, God, there was this Notre Dame coach who then went to, God, you know, we have forgotten his name. Do you remember who the Notre Dame coach was that then went to North Carolina?
Football coach?
Football coach.
What did he do something wrong? You've got me at a disadvantage here, Brian.
He came in after Ara Parseghian.
Oh, Dan Devine or Dan Devine or I don't know. No. Why do you set me up with questions I can't answer here, Brian Oxman?
Because I don't remember his name.
Jerry Faust?
No, it's not. I will never remember his name. Lou Holtz. He was.
Oh, Lou Holtz. He was at North Carolina State before he was at Notre Dame.
Well, same difference. He hurt me.
What's with these confusing questions trying to trip me up here, Brian Oxman? What's the matter with you?
It was beforehand. It wasn't afterward. Okay, he was at North Carolina.
North Carolina State.
We go to North Carolina because it's really neat there. The players are really great, and the school is really, terrific. And are they going to want this girl to run Belichick's life? I don't think so.
Well, why does he hang in there? North Carolina might be having second thoughts about hiring him. It looks like it's a hostage situation. Nobody at the university is happy about her taking control of the football program. And it reminds me of something my father told me years ago when I was young. You know what he told me, Brian? He said, son, never, ever forget.
What
never
did he say?
Forget. He said, the vagina is undefeated. And he said, you've got, throughout history, you have the most powerful world leaders who ever lived, the most powerful businessmen. They're ruthless. They take advantage of people. They always win. They become billionaires by having no mercy, and they get brought down by a blonde bimbo with big boobs. They bring down empires.
David, it's always a woman. Just remember that. From Adam and Eve, we always blame the woman. And women get very upset at this. It's not their fault. Belichick has this new book, The Art of Winning,
Yes.
Lessons from My Life in Football. Where did he get that title, The Art of Winning? I don't know. Does anyone else have a book
From
like that?
Sun Tzu?
No.
The Art of
Art of the
War.
Deal. Now,
Oh, The
Sun
Art of the
Tzu
Deal. Trump. Yeah.
is the art of war. Now, Trump is the art of the deal. So Belichick, the art of winning. Okay, Bill, great. Play off of, okay, Sun Tzu or Trump, whoever it is. And he's out there promoting it. And he's dropping the F-bomb. He says in the book that he says he effed up. He won't tell you where he effed up during the Super Bowl. You have to buy the book.
I think that's the Malcolm Butler situation when he didn't play him in that loss to the Eagles a few years ago.
Well, that may be it, but he's not identifying it. He's just tantalizing you. Now, if that's the girls' take on this, if that's the girls' advice, wow, she got a little head on her shoulders if that's what she's telling him to do. She has some kind of instinct as to how to promote. Is that what's happening? I don't know, but I'll sure tell you that Belichick likes this young thing, and so be it.
Let's hope it doesn't bring him down and bring down the North Carolina football program. You know, and they're talking about an intervention as well. Some of his friends, they're concerned about him, Brian Oxman. But let's finish up here. One of the most impressive things you did, and I read the story a couple of days ago that Virginia Giuffre, who was the 17-year-old working on Epstein Island, who was raped allegedly by Prince Andrew and by Jeffrey Epstein, and used as a sex slave, and she was sex trafficked, and it kind of ruined her life. And she bravely came forward as a whistleblower against Epstein and Epstein Island over the years, wound up living in Australia, and supposedly committed suicide the other day, which I don't believe for a second, because she posted something on Twitter a couple of years ago saying, I'm not suicidal, I'm fine, and if anything ever happens to me, there are people out to get me, make sure you investigate. So, Brian, but you're the one who found her. Remember, she disappeared. People didn't know she was living in Australia, and when the lawsuit started happening over Epstein Island, nobody could find her. You found her in about one day, didn't you? It was an amazing job.
Less than 24 hours, absolutely. Alan Dershowitz called me and we were talking, and he says, Brian, she's disappeared. Nobody knows where she's gone. So her attorney is bombing from 50,000 feet and dropping all these accusations, and nobody knows where she is. And I said, Alan, we'll find her. We'll find her. So what did we do? Now, her father has put out a statement that don't believe that his daughter committed suicide. He says that it's BS and that it's untrue. Now, how is it that her father is very close to her. He lives in Colorado. I knew where the father was. So we called and we said, hey, we want to interview Virginia. And he gave us her phone number in Melbourne, Australia. He gave us the phone number. It took precisely 15 minutes to get him on the phone and get that phone number. Called Melbourne, Australia at midnight in Los Angeles time. And lo and behold, she answers the phone. We then called the local courthouse. And you know what we found? We found the most devastating evidence against her. She had been charged multiple times with improper running of a massage parlor. Her husband had been charged with improper massage parlor activities, violence at the massage parlor, beating up clients. It was really very difficult.
Now, were they ever convicted of this? Is this true?
Not that we knew of. No, these
so it might not have been true.
Simply may not have been
allegations,
true.
Yes.
These are allegations. But was she involved in the massage parlor business? Absolutely, she was. And the whole idea, okay, the family's rightfully upset. I don't blame her. The statement is made, it is with utter heartbroken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night on her farm in Western Australia. She lost her life to suicide after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sexual trafficking. No, the lifelong massage parlor operation that she did voluntarily. And that was the important thing. Look, was she a little sweet, innocent? Well, at 17 years old,
Yes.
she may well have been, but Dave, I have seen how the girls operate in these sex parties with these
You
operators
have?
who yes, I
Does your
have.
wife know about this?
Yes, she does. I would go to those sex
Oh,
parties.
boy.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Why? Because my clients were there and they would invite me to them. Okay, Nygaard, you know who Nygaard was?
Wasn't he that modeling agent from Europe that's in jail now for rape?
That is him.
Yep.
He had sex parties, and my clients invited me because some of my clients were his like Ghislaine Maxwell was to Epstein. They were his madam, and they were suing him. I was suing Peter Nygaard for not palimony, for child support because he got my gal pregnant, and she was literally his madam at these sex parties. So she invited me to one of the sex parties so I would see what was happening. Unbelievable, Dave. The drugs, the alcohol, the women running around half clad, half naked. I never saw anything like this in my life. Now, do I understand how Jeffrey Epstein operated? You betcha I did. How Peter Nygaard operated? You bet you I did. Absolutely. How Virginia Giuffre was brought into this life. These young ladies are running around voluntarily. Nobody's holding them there. It's one great big party. Do I feel sorry for them? Well, okay, if I was a do-gooder and I was trying
Yeah,
to
for the
reform,
underage girls in high school, yes. The Epstein girls, yes, absolutely I do.
I guess I do. If they're 17, they're not responsible. But Dave, I'm sorry. These things were so unbelievable to me. Did I participate? Did I partake in them? And I have to tell you truthfully, Dean Martin, I cannot tell a lie. That was Rodney Dangerfield. Remember him in Back to School?
Yes.
Dean Martin, I cannot tell a lie. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Well, and you know the Nygaard thing was with I assume with consenting adults. Epstein Island, it was rape of underage girls. It was statutory rape, and
There's always
difference.
underage. There's always underage girls. The girls lie. And they tell you that they are this. Some of the men who are involved in these things are great at getting these girls fake IDs and being able to make claims of that they're over 18. I thought the whole thing was disgusting. No, Dave, I did not participate in it. I was madder than a hen over how this kind of sexual perversion, sexual exploitation took place. Was it incredible, fantastic? Yeah, it was. But I was very furious. And my wife will tell you, I came back and I described the whole dang thing to her, and she was disgusted. We were both disgusted.
Well, let's finish with this, Brian. I don't believe for 1 second that Virginia Giuffre committed suicide. I don't believe for 1 second Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide at that Manhattan detention facility. So, Brian, remember about 2 months ago, our new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said she had mountains of evidence on her desk, Epstein files, and she had 1,000 agents looking at them 24 hours a day, and they're going to be released soon. It's been 100 days now, Brian. Why are the Epstein files being stonewalled? Why are they being slow walked? Why haven't they been released? Why aren't we seeing arrests? Is it because rich, powerful people are being protected? Is that why they're not being released? Or are they going to be redacted? Or are they protecting people whose names they don't want out there?
Names like Bill Clinton, names
Maybe
like Michael Jackson.
Really? Was he there on Epstein Island?
He knew Epstein.
Wow.
He wasn't on Epstein Island, but he knew Epstein.
Wow.
And all of these people, these are high rollers. These are people who are involved in big time entertainment activities. So are all of these documents indicting? Are they going to blow the lid off? I don't think so. I don't think there's much there. There's a lot of names, but I don't think that there's much there. Here's what bothers me. Virginia, says that she had just gotten in a traffic accident, that the new year had started poorly for her, and she posted, "I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But you know what they say about wishes." And then she has to do expletives, S.T, S in on the one hand and S out on the other. Okay, was she hurt in this accident? She says she was. This is April 1.
And she posted a picture, too.
That's right. She had 4 days to live. She committed suicide. Now, the police report says it was a minor traffic accident, and the witnesses say, no way, she was not hurt. What is she doing saying that she has 4 days to live and that she's in kidney failure? Her life was surrounded by this kind of absolute ridiculous accusations, ridiculous hyperbole, ridiculous claims. She is surrounded by it. She created it. Will we ever know what happened? No, Dave, we will not. Do I believe she committed suicide? No, I don't. But will we ever know?
Probably
I doubt
not.
it very much.
Well, Brian, as always, this was great stuff. I've long since forgiven you for sending me up the river down at L.A. County Jail. We love having you on Dave Smith Unleashed, and hopefully we can do this again soon. You are a fountain of information.
Dave, you are the best. I have to apologize. I was trying to get you permanent residence where you weren't going to have to pay any rent, and you were going to have multiple wives. You were going to be the King Solomon of your time.
I was.
You were going to have an unbelievable harem, Dave.
Great stuff, Brian. We'll do this again soon. Thanks for coming on.
You're the best.
There he goes, the great Brian Oxman with Dave Smith on Dave Smith Unleashed, brought to you by MTS Transportation. Call them at 800-640-6873. Reliable on-time delivery. Compliance you can count on. Round-the-clock support. Superior communication. Experienced logistic partners, and mention the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast and get 20% off on your next shipment. Now, want to hear the podcast? Well, go to youtube.com/@the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast. youtube.com/@the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast. And hopefully you get everybody to subscribe. You listen to the show. And thank you again to the subscribers and the listeners. We couldn't be doing this without you. And thanks again to MTS Transportation for sponsoring and providing the once a month 4-pack of Dodgers tickets with preferred parking. So we'll talk to you next time. And if you want to know the Dave Smith Unleashed schedule, follow me on Twitter or X @DaveSportsGod. And I'm always posting updates on when the next shows are coming up, what the topics are going to be, who the guests are going to be. And we'll talk to you next time right here on Dave Smith Unleashed.